welcome to episode 8 of the Green Room podcast. I am accompanied today by Damz Doherty, who's also a fellow member on Bad Arts Entertainment. I've known the fella for a couple of years. Probably out of all the people I've had on the show, I've known the longest. So why don't you give yourself a bit of an introduction and kind of a little bit of your backstory, I guess, into how you got into music and Irish hip hop specifically.
Yeah, so my name is Damz and I'm a rapper from Limerick. I started rapping when I was 13 years of age and I'm 26 years of age now. So basically I started rapping when I was 13 and I was like just obsessed with rap music since a young age, you know, like Eminem and Dr. Dre, Tupac, Biggie, the whole shebang, and pretty much everything rap, mainstream. I'm into all other sorts of music too. I'm into metal, I'm into a different variety of genres, let's say. So I like to mix all that into my own music. But other than that, when I started, my main influences, you know, in the Irish scene has to be the Class A's, Rubber Bandits, J Red. Like they were the three main like sets of people from the Irish rap scene, and they got me interested in rap music. Like when it comes to Irish rap, you know, I'm pretty mad for the good old sound and Irish accent, you know. I can't stand like when people put on a fake accent. It just makes me not want to listen to the music at all. But other than that, what were you saying? Sorry.
How did you get to meet Sean? Because you joined up then and together and formed a group called Indecisive.
We did indeed.
How did that come about?
So I went to college back in 2016, 2017, and we to do music technology. And my mate Sean Coffey, he's in the group Indecisive with me. We ended up in the same course together, so we kind of like stuck to each other's hips, you know, like good mates, like, and we became even better mates. Like we're best friends at this point, like. And we decided to do stuff together, make music together, and Shawnee would produce and I would mix, master and rap, and we'd take turns doing different things. Like I'd make a beat sometime and Shawnee would record me and mix and master me, and then another time he'll record me and mix and master, and he'll make the beats and everything, you know. We just switch up every time. But we decided to just join the whole rap game, like, because I'm rapping there a good 10 years now, like, so we wanted to go do something with it. Like we were learning how to make beats, we were learning how to mix and master. Why not just make albums and just do what we're doing for the laugh, you know? It was never really to get money or anything like that. It was more or less just to have some material out there, you know?
It's only really become a thing recently where you can actually make a bit of money, but it tends to be you have to be kind of a hyper successful rapper or a producer.
You have to blow up online. You have to get
production is probably easier to make money off, to be honest, because I mean if you can make a decent beat you can throw it out there and sell it like for something at least. But as a rapper there's only a small group of lads really and girls in this country that are making money off it to the point where they don't have to have a job or anything like that, you know. I know loads of artists in England that are fucking doing better than a lot of us. Like they're huge, like they're still working 9 to 5s on top of that, like. Some
people already have their foot in the door anyway, depending on who they know. But some people will just have to foot in, like, because they have everything handed to them. Like, but some people come up from nothing and they blow up too. You know,
I would have said that's kind of where, at least where I was, there was absolutely nothing like this at all. Like in Limerick, you had Music Generation, and there's a lot of rappers and producers kind of put together. But in Galway, like it was just myself really that developed an interest in it really, and it went on from there. It wasn't until Limerick that I actually met like-minded people that actually went to it as well. So
when I was in Music Generation, there was a bare amount of like Irish rappers from Limerick, especially. You know, I only heard of a handful of people, like, and now there's
and
at
most
least.
Of them are still doing to this day, like.
Yeah, exactly. And but you see other people there and they don't go any further with it at all, and they're gone back to the whole normal life. And like you could tell from when they started, it's kind of like, oh, it's just a facade, but then like it ends pretty quickly for some people. It's like it's one of those them dreams where like you have to go full whack at it or you're not going to get anywhere at all.
Yeah, like you can understand why someone who's maybe 15, 16 might go at it and then give up because it didn't end up the way they wanted. But like even a lot of adults do that too. They go into it and they have their expectations are too high, and they don't realize that the majority of the people that we know, at least that are at the top, put in a lot of time and effort and sleepless nights, and you know it was their constant wave of energy was going toward that. So I think that people underestimate really like how much work you have to put in. Like Jimi Hendrix didn't become the guitarist he did from picking up the guitar, you know, just and fucking playing it. Like he obviously put in years and years and years of constant tiresome work. Like
there's a lot of it's a tedious process, like, because you're writing stories about yourself. Especially if you're a rapper, you're obviously going to write stories about yourself. And like you have to like talk about yourself in a good way too, like, cause sometimes I catch myself being very negative about myself, like, and I have to stop myself and go back and be like, okay, I'm getting a bit too personal now, I need to dial it back a bit. Like, and it's kind of, you know, you have to kind of keep a balance between letting everything out and being a bit subtle at the same time, you know. It's like everyone's has a bit of a has a life that they can talk about, you know, but there's only certain things that you can talk about in it if you want to be successful. If you go too hard at it, like, you're just going to get put off by the media, you're not going to get any radio play, you're not going to get any recognition, you know.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. Like, it's kind of, there's a gate keeps kind of
you have to be this certain way
that,
to do it, like,
doesn't, like, you know what I mean, like, it's in Ireland, like, definitely it's kind of, there is a bit of a square box there you have to kind of fit into with everything, with your image, your sound, your production, the from A to Z, like, and if you're not within that, then you're not going to get into that circle. But it's kind of depends on how you feel about it, really. Like myself, like, I'm happy to be an underground artist. It's what I want to do. Like, I like that kind of music and the kind of like, style and the approach I take.
For example, so, like, you know, not a lot of people would be into your style of music, but that's why I like your music, because it's different and it's original, and you talk about subject matters that I can't see any other rapper talking about, you know. And like, you go like, a great way about it with great bars and rhyme schemes.
There's uniqueness to it, like, sometimes that I don't acknowledge it. It's like, they're actually, like, you know, there is, Ireland is small enough now, and there's, even though there's loads of rappers, there still is plenty of unique enough sounds that you can attribute to a couple of different rappers. And like, yeah, I would say that even my own stuff has a level, and your stuff as well. And the majority of stuff on Bad Arts, like, none of us are sharing the same sound, or whether it's production.
Everyone has an original sound in Bad Arts now. That's what I love about it. Everyone is different.
Like, certain things kind of overlap a little bit, because, like, say, Davey is very dark trappy, and then Sharktooth is another level to that, and then Harold is another level to that again. And it's kind of, it all kind of, it's like a flow of a river, you know, from the start to the beginning. But let's just say it's a fucking, you know, different speeds and different fucking lengths and depth of water each way, if that makes any sense, kind of, in terms of what we're doing.
100%,
like,
yeah.
But, it wouldn't really make so much sense if we had 8 people that all sounded the same. It would just kind of, it wouldn't work, I don't think, really. Like, it'd be very boring releasing music the whole time if we all sounded the same.
100%, like, and whatever about the both of us, like, we have our little styles or whatever, we're a bit weird, but like the boys, Big Man, Goblin, and like Sharktooth, like, and the rest of the boys, Son of Dawn even, like, they all have distinct sounds that is their own and it's original. No one else can do what they're doing, like, and that's where my respect lies with them, you know.
So you were on RTE once upon a time when you were younger.
I was, yeah.
Bring this up, but
bring it up. I'll talk about it.
It's a very unique thing, though, so that's why I definitely bring it up. Give us kind of the rundown on how that went and what went down when you were doing it.
Right, like, so I was rapping, and I was like, I wasn't recording or mixing and mastering at the time. It was more or less just doing it. I was rapping with the lads, or I'd play a beat on YouTube. I used to rob beats off YouTube like every other rapper when they're starting, you know, and it's just a case of getting from A to B. But getting from A to B for me was just taking a chance one day on this little thing that I heard going on in Limerick Senior. It was an audition for a new RTE show called Brezzy's Teenage Kicks, and it was like, it was ran by the judge of the Voice of Arden, Niall Brezzy from the Blizzards, and like, he's a nice chap, whatever, you know, but you have all the heads from RT, and I was getting produced from a group called Shin a Whale Studios. They done like MasterChef and all them kind of shows for RT, the Irish versions, you know. But basically, there was this audition going on, and I applied for this. I had my guitar on my back, and I was busking in town that day, so on my way home I was going to be passing, so it was kind of like one of those things where I just went for it. And I was sat in a room and put in front of a camera, like, it was a producer from the Shin a Whale, like Joe's small time producer, and it was like the first stages, like the X Factor. You have to go through like 2 or 3 stages before you get to the actual TV recorded audition. So you have to do like 2 or 3 auditions. So I done I'd done a rendition of a song that I wrote myself, and it's called "Picking Up the Pieces." It's on YouTube. It's like a pure old song. It's kind of pure shit. Like, but you can look it up if you want to, because you could just see how far it came from when I was that age with the rapping. But after that, she told me that, you know, she let me know if I got the part or anything like that, and I wasn't expecting anything. Like, I just said I'd done it, and I could say that I'd done it, you know, just for the crack of it, like. And I remember just a few weeks later getting a call, and I'm dying in the bed from a hangover, like, and the woman on the phone tells me, you know, I got the part for the show. She wants me to come back for a second audition, so I do that one, and I get it out the way, and she's like, yeah, okay, we definitely want you coming for the live TV auditions or whatever. It's going to be recorded in the Mary I Theatre out in the fucking Mary Immaculate College, like. And it was very professional, like, you know, as you would expect from RT, but it's very, like, you have to be a certain way, you have to look a certain way, and they tell you how to act with the cameras, not to be nervous, and like that's just the first stages, like. And the thing about it was weird because it's set in Limerick, and I see a lot of people that I know, and they're auditioning, like, and I know a lot of the people auditioning, like, just through Facebook or known people to know them over the years. And I saw a lot of people there doing it, and I was like, a lot of these guys are probably way better. I mean, they're just going to get it. I wasn't thinking any much of it, like. And I done my audition, and I met Brezzy, and I met May Kay, but from the band Fight Like Apes. It's a very small time, like, mainstream band. Some punk rockers would know it, like, especially Irish heads, you know, from the days back in the old days. But I was only introduced to her then. And one of the drummers from the Blizzards, I think he was from the Blizzards, or he's just a good mate of Brezzy's or something. Like, I done my audition, I had a laugh, and Brezzy pulled me aside, and he's saying, you know, great work, I really enjoyed the song and what you did with it. He gave me a lot of constructive criticism, like, and I took that on the nose or whatever, because it really boosted my confidence levels a bit, like. And I was just, like, it was only then I was kind of nervous. Oh fuck, are they even going to say yeah to me now? Because I really actually want to get into it. You know, he made me want to get into it. And then they let us know a couple of weeks later, then again, that I got onto the show along with Calvin McNamara, Nathan Keane, Sharice Brennan, and Kelsey Keane. And I know Calvin and Nathan from back in the Music Gen days, like, and they're rapping down in my Ross and Killy, like, in the youth club. And we'd done a song together before, like, so we knew each other from the get-go. And I thought, like, it was going to be a pure cushy thing. I know two of the lads, I got to know two of the girls, they seemed sound, whatever. And we got through the show, but, like, it ended up becoming, like, this big fake process, like, and the more you got done and recorded on the telly, the more they tell you what to do and what way to act and what to change about yourself. And we might have to delete our Facebook pages, we might have to make Twitter pages, and because that was the thing back in 2014, you know, Facebook wasn't as good for celebrities, but, like, Twitter was a thing, like, you know, and they're on about getting us the blue ticks and being pure serious about it, you know, all this pure marketing shit and promotion shit.
It sounds like a fucking stereotypical movie, like, it's like the kid gets his dream to get on TV, and then he realises it's not just fucking, you know, you get up there and do what you want.
Yeah, and
it's very.
I'd say something if they knew had a clue about rap music, especially Irish rap, like, they hadn't. They were all coming from different backgrounds, but none of them coming from rap. Not the lads in the crew now, but like RTE and even Brezzy, like, you know, he's not the kind of guy you want to be doing a show about Irish rap. And it wasn't even supposed to be about Irish rap in the first place. It was just supposed to be a talent show and see what they could pull out of Limerick's arse, like, you know. That's literally what it was. See what they could pull from the back end of Limerick, like. And they done this thing, right, where they used where everyone was living. I was kind of like the odd one out because I was living all over the place and I wasn't really from any the bad areas of Limerick, let's say. But Calvin and Nathan were from my Ross, and Sharice was from South Hill, and Kelsey was from the island, like. So they took the fact that Kelsey was from the island and the fact that the two boys were from my Ross, and they made a whole deal about the feud, and they implemented the feud into the show just for like to get people watching and get everyone from those places watching the show. It's got
literally nothing to do with it at all. Like.
There's absolutely nothing to do with it. Like, I suppose it has something to do with the two boys' backstories or whatever, but the whole show ended up revolving around that and them, like, you know.
Pure selling point, like.
Yeah, like, I could have talked shit. I could have been a pure fucking like, I was behind the scenes. I thought I was the fucking bee's knees behind the scenes. Like, eventually I was put in my place and, you know, humbled by my experience, like. But like, even on telly, like, I kind of kept it nice chill minimum. Like I feel like I could have been a bit more outgoing, a bit more talkative, and I could have made more of an impression on the audiences and shit like that. Because it got to a point where we done Saturday Night Live, and Brendan Gleeson was on, the fella done that Saturday Night Live, like, and when behind the stages they were like, oh, here's all the list of questions, and Damien, you're going to get the first question. And I was like, alright, fair enough, no answer. And he never asked my question, so I was like, alright, he's probably leaving it till the end or something, or he's leaving it till halfway. And he just never asked me my question. So I'm sitting out on Saturday Night Live, everyone gets their say, their little word, and I'm sitting like a spare tool looking at the camera, like. And that shit fucking annoyed me, like, I've had a vendetta with RTE ever since, like.
Naturally, like, I mean, especially at your age and the position you're in, like, it's they're giving you starry eyes and you get fucking kind of shat on in that sense. Yeah,
sure, they put my 18th birthday party and all on the telly and used my broken relationship as a plot point of the show too. Like my board at the time I was on the show, she'd done me dirty, like, she cheated on me, and they used that as a part of the show without strictly saying it. They made it out like pure, oh, it's heartbreak now on the show for the show's Damien and Leanne and all this shit, and they just made it a big part of it. And they were taking shots at me on the side and shit that I didn't know that they were recording, and they made me out to be pure depressed, even though I was going on a mad one and going on the benders and shit to get over it rather than being depressed. I was just like, I guess I was depressed, but they made me out to be way more upset than I was.
It sounds like they were pretty invasive, like, especially considering your age. Like,
Very.
It sounds like a bit of an irresponsible take on their end, like, because you were younger, like, it could fucking affect you pretty badly.
Oh, I was 17, like, I was still a child, like, and the rest of them were all still, like, I suppose Nathan was 18 and Calvin was 16 or 17. But Nathan was the only one that was of legal age, I think, and we were all just kids, like, and they used our lives and tried to make a quick buck off of us, and once it was all done and said, it was like they dropped us to our doorstep, and it was kind of like, yeah, thanks very much for the money, kind of, we'll see you again, never. And never heard from him again. Like, I got paid 250 off CD sales. I was owed 100 quid. Sorry, no, my fucking throat's hoarse as fuck. But I was owed 100 quid off the Saturday Night Live, but they decided to distribute it amongst one of the members of the group. I won't say who, but they gave me 2 $50s instead of the money that I was supposed to get, like. And I nearly got arrested for trying to use it.
Fucking
but
hell. That's
other
pure,
than that,
it's like pure fucking bollocks. Like, I mean, they're professionals and they hand out the money to one other person to distribute, like, as if it's their job to do so in the first place.
Like I could say it was RT, right, but it was mostly Shinaway Studios. Shinaway Studios hadn't a clue how to deal with people like us, like, from the places that we were from, like, not even me, but the lads, like, they couldn't hack the lads at all, like, there was a handful for everyone, like.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it was just like, personally, if I could go back, I wouldn't have bothered darkening the doorstep, like.
It sounds like it was a waste of time in the end.
A big waste of time, like. I suppose it was an experience and I learned a lot from it, but at the same sense I could have done without it, like.
Yeah, I don't think I was ever on TV for the right reasons anyway.
I suppose it was cool seeing myself on TV, but, like, there's some parts on it there I wish I could take back. Like, I was stoned off my head on it at one point, and it's fucking hilarious. Like, if it got fucking clipped and put on YouTube, but it'd be awful. Like,
that's the type of stuff that's gonna get found in 20 years when you're famous. Like,
literally, yeah.
Who wants to see a video of Damz when he's 16, stoned off his head in RT? Like,
100%.
That's why you should wear a mask like me, so if anyone sees any embarrassing things of me somewhere, that it's like, that's not me. I don't know who that is.
That's not me.
It's funny actually. There's my mate sent me 2 pictures of 2 lads in Limerick. You probably saw them before on Facebook or Instagram, like, and they're screenshots of CCTV footage on prime time, like. And these 2 boys look exactly like it is a blurry photo, but if you just look at it, like, I've shown it to my old lad and everyone said, like, who's that? He's like, is that you? I'm like, yeah. He's like, what the fuck are you doing? What are you doing on prime time? Like, I was like, it fucking most definitely isn't me. Like, but even the outfits they're wearing, it's like, it looks exactly like my clothes, but I know they're not me because it's just like, I know I didn't do anything. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's like one of them. He's walking down, I think Henry Street in Limerick. And he's got something under his arm, and it's like, I know it's not me because I've never fucking gone in there and fucking maced anything, like, so unless they mistook me for someone else. And there's another one, some fella in a car park with a fucking knife or some shit like that. And it's like, that's most definitely not me as well, like, but I think they're my only 2 supposed spots on TV, but neither of them are actually me, thank God.
Yeah, but like people believe them to be you, like.
Oh yeah. Well, I used it to my advantage. I put them up on Facebook. It was like, watch me on CCTV there, fucking wanted man, like probably got
typical
few
Connor,
likes,
bro.
few views, like.
You're so mad.
Negative attention is great. Is any form of attention is great for attention, but negative stuff especially. Do you know what I mean? Like.
No, of course, man. Any publicity is good publicity, like, you know. It gets like even if you're a horrible, well, yeah, even if you're killing people, you're gonna get known for it, like, you know.
Yeah.
Shame about some people, eh?
I always thinking more like Gucci Mane or something like that, but yeah.
Yeah, you know what I'm on about.
Gucci Mane's one, man. I fucking love that where he openly admitted to it, but because he turned himself in, he got away because it was self-defense. Like what happened was he went home with some girl, and when he got there, now this is a supposed story. He got there and there was 3 lads there with guns. He managed to get one of the guns, disarm one of the lads, kill him, escape, and then they
Gucci Mane did.
Yeah, they drove. He went back with his boys. They took the body and buried the body behind a high school, and then he turned himself in about a day or 2 later. But because it was self-defense, he never did time for it. And it was ironic because at the time, like Gucci was in and out of prison about probably 20 times since his career started. Like,
yeah.
So it was weird that he didn't go away. Like, and then he rapped about it in a diss toward who it was toward. What's his name? Young Jeezy, or not Young Jeezy? His name's Just Jeezy. Actually, he's one of the southern rappers. Not doesn't really have any exceptional music, like, but they were a few.
Yeah, I never heard of him.
And then Gucci mentioned it on his diss after that. It was like, go dig your partner up. I bet he can't say shit, like, and it is pretty badass because it's like it's fucking true, like, and they buried him behind the school.
Straight out about it.
He admitted to it and got away with it scot free, like. And that's probably, like, he was famous before that, but after that, that's when his kind of name blew up even more. People love that shit, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, NWA wouldn't have nearly been as famous if it wasn't for their style and what they were fucking doing. Like, they were 4 or 5 black guys with guns roaring about the hood in the most aggressive, obnoxious ways possible. And obviously in America, this was like, mother of God, like, what's happening? I would have loved to have witnessed, like, some white suburban richest family fucking.
It was the first digital attack on police as well.
Straight Outta Compton for the first time, like, probably all shat themselves, like.
A lot of people thinking, oh, this is what it was like back in the day. Some people haven't a fucking clue, bro. Straight Outta Compton is a fucking good movie, though. It's one of the better ones out of the rap movies, like, you know.
It's the best one, in fairness, I think.
I think so, actually. Yeah, thinking about it, I must go back and get it on Blu-ray, like, and add it to my collection.
Yeah, and I watched it recently again with Sam Maguire. Well, not recently, but fucking when I was living in Mayorstone, that's the last time I watched it with him, and yeah, it stood the test of time really, really well. And the Wu-Tang show, American Saga, is pretty good, but if you're aware of the whole Wu-Tang story, it does blatantly have a lot of creative license. Like, like the RZA in real life, he shot a guy, which was kind of strange because he was like one of the few guys of Wu-Tang that wasn't involved with any of the kind of gang shit or anything like that. He wasn't a criminal or anything like that.
It was a personal thing, like.
Well, I think some fella like fucking scratched his car or something like that, or something like that. And he shot him, which is a pretty
personal thing.
petty reason. But in the show, it shows that some like rival. Or some basically the local arsehole, like, who's fucking bullying everyone, just got out of prison, and I think RZA's older brother owed him money, so he steals like all of their mixtapes, which is like the precursor to 36 Chambers, their first album.
Yeah, like, all the masters to the old ones, like. Yeah,
they're not going to be able to put it out on the radio if they don't get him back. So like, the RZA goes down and ends up shooting the guy in the leg. Like, it's like, that's not how it went down at all. They're definitely trying to make it into a bit more of a kind of
more dramatic,
a mystical story, a dramatic story. Like, but there was a lot of stuff in it that, like, I didn't know about. Like, that was fucking
more dramatic for dramatic reasons.
Yeah, but there is a lot of it too that is actually true that people wouldn't even think is true. Like, I mean, Ghostface and Raekwon were actually both gang rivals at the time and were supposedly in a feud and attempted to kill each other on at least one occasion each, like, and then they end up being in the biggest hip hop group of all time together as arguably best mates then, like, which is a pretty crazy thing to go down.
It's a mad thing, yeah. It's kind of ironic, like.
Same with the whole idea that kung fu and fucking gangster rap somehow made such an amazing combination at the time. Like, I don't think that was something anyone would have thought worked, but somehow it did.
gangster rap really like elevated rap as a genre though. Like if it wasn't for gangster rap, it would never have been. It wouldn't be as good as it is today. Like really influenced even the newer generation with the new school mainstream stuff like that. You gangster rap and back in the day, all the good stuff really did influence some of the newer stuff. Like
yeah, like there is like it's way more dancey up until that kind of took a hold of it. Like I mean. And it wasn't really NWA either. That kind of like there was ones before that. Like I think Ghetto Boys were just before NWA, and Too Short was before NWA as well. Too Short was around since like '83, and what's his name? KRS-One when he was part of Boogie Down Productions as well. He's got very early gangster rap stuff as well. But like just before that, say the early '80s, like it was disco music nearly for the most part. Like and I can't imagine it would have reached the heights. I think it just would have become like a subgenre of pop nearly.
Yeah.
And kind of not necessarily fizzled out, but not staged so prominent. Which arguably it's been the biggest genre of music since the 30s, or it's not the 30s. I was saying in the last 30 years since the 90s. Like, consistently
Jesus,
has been
it's
in the
mad
charts.
that you can say it's been nearly 30 years now since the 90s. Has it been? It's just way past 20, like, isn't it?
It's 32 now.
Jesus fucking
Since
Christ.
1990 was 32 years ago, man. You know what I mean? Like,
that's mad, like.
I know, yeah, it's fucking, it really is fucking mad, especially when you think of our own age. Like, it's like, yeah, I'm only 25, but it's still fucking, 1996 seems like a long time ago, like.
Tell me about it. The year I was born, bro. 25 years ago, 26.
So,
are
you working on any music right now?
Yeah, so basically I have a 10-track album out with Indecisive, me and Caffeine, and we've been working on it for the last 3 years. It's been a bit too long to be working on an album, but I wanted it to be relatively perfect compared to the last two that we done, because like I look back at the last two fondly, but not as fondly as I would like to. I feel like I could have done a lot more in them, but listening over the new tracks now, I'm pretty happy with what we're after coming out with, and it's pretty much nearly done now. Got the last bit of recording done for it today, actually. And I also I'm going to be having a solo EP coming out sometime during the year, in the first half of 2022 anyway. The Indecisive album's going to be out at the end of this month or next month, 100% next month.
Perfect. Yeah, I've been hearing about this for fucking years, so it's a good.
Yeah, you've heard a couple of the tracks, like, but all of them together, like they really all mesh together, and it really has a whole, like they all mesh with the whole title of the album. It's called Bad Thoughts, and the main song off it is banger, like, but all the other songs relatively wrap well around it and the whole subject matter. It's a very depressing album, but it's hopeful at the same time.
I get you, yeah. I like to have a bit of like in the latest EP, I'm doing at least the majority of the music I have for the sorry, all the at least, yeah, I'd say all of the songs reference at least one of the other songs at some point in the song, so it's like a nice kind of little continuation there. Or
that's what I've been doing with the new album as well. Yeah, the exact same thing. I think Dan is doing that as well.
It's cool to be able to add like fucking kind of extra layers of kind of creativity to, like, that you'd forget about each time, whether it's just outside of the general stuff, like your flow and your production and your mixing and mastering. Like, it's like, oh, like I want to have this kind of little kind of cinematic scene kind of going on, depending if that's what you want to do, because not every project or album out there, no matter what the genre, is cinematic. Like, it takes an exceptional one where it seems like it's kind of almost like a movie, like Straight Outta Compton is a movie. 36 Chambers, Liquid Swords are movies, like
they're stories in themselves, like.
But even just like, say, Ready to Die, Biggie Small's first album, like, even though he supposedly wasn't nearly as involved with the streets as his music claims he is, like, when you hear that tune,
I'm hearing things there lately that, like, he wasn't even selling crack when he was younger, like, and it was all, like, just made up for stories and shit. But he
sold a bit of crack, like, but he wasn't like a full-blown 9-to-5 gangster, like, you know what I mean? But with that, like, at the start when they, like, robbed the subway train, like, it's literally, you can picture it so well, just New York in the 90s when it was probably at its height of its chaos, like, and just the music, every last aspect of it's like, this is New York 90s gangster rap, fucking with
all the trends were like on show back then as well, and it really dates the time. It's what made the 90s nostalgic,
it's a time capsule. Like not every, I don't think every, I think it's generally, yeah, the albums that are always going to be regarded the most, like Illmatic and fucking them, they really set it so well where it's like you can literally just close your eyes and put yourself in their shoes right where they are, in the places they are, whether it's the projects or Staten Island or something like that. And that's kind of what I try to achieve more and more now with my projects, is like I want some sort of visualization. And it's probably easier if, because a lot of my mates would recognize references, probably more so than ye boys, because I only know ye a couple of years, like, but
yeah,
just references to kind of stuff, like whether it's jokes or little instances in the past and stuff like that. And like they would tell me, like, I could just picture that exact scene, like I was there when that happened. Like I don't know if it would be as universal for strangers, because I mean I've had people plenty of times ask me like, what the fuck is this about, or like, what's this, I don't get this at all, like, because it's so,
you
like,
have to explain it to them, like,
yeah, it's filled with private jokes and stuff like that people are just not going to get at all. And like it's not even going to sound funny if they don't get the context, or if they weren't there, or if they don't know the people and places that are involved with it. It's like, but
I have an awful problem with that and my music as well, where it's like I'm a bit too, like, I get a bit personal with the jokes and shit like that, and my problem is being a bit more relatable, and like it's a topic point on the new album as well, where like I always rap about not being not being relatable to people. But see, that's the thing, like I'm different to everyone else. I'm not like most people, so that's the way I'm thinking about it in the writing sense when I'm going back to that. I want it to be weird but not too weird.
I don't want to be relatable at all, man.
Yeah,
I kind of like the idea that someone comes away and goes, what the fuck did I just listen to, or what's he on about?
Yeah,
not necessarily.
You like being out there, like you like having people scratching their head afterwards, thinking what, like my mind's either blown or I'm just like I'm fucking slow, like. Because
I've been told I do that anyways, like my constant sarcastic sense of humor and just kind of tone deaf, like I'm tone deaf in a sense. So like people, at least people who haven't known me that long will say like I can't tell if you're serious or not half the time, like and like they don't know what to believe and what not to believe. So like it's not that I necessarily do that on purpose to confuse people, I just don't realize I'm fucking doing it. But with the music especially, I kind of like people being confused and a bit discombobulated afterward, like, and kind of like, my music's not too weird. I think it's like, the sound I have is pretty normal, like, do you know what I mean? But I definitely like to go for like really weird beats and kind of weird just tracks and kind of fucking subject matter and stuff like that, and kind of it's not always just edgy either. Like I don't necessarily forcibly be edgy, like, but it's kind of like
the beats you use are very sample orientated, like, but you do a great job with the samples, like.
The new EP, like a lot of it, I really went for the kind of simplistic side, like Madlib does. Like Madlib is regarded as one of the best producers ever, but a lot of the time he's just getting like one nice sample, and even sometimes doesn't even add drums. He just finds a sample, edits that one sample, and then loops it for a whole track, and it fucking works. And I did that a lot of the time this time, not out of laziness, but just getting a nice like 10-second loop, just that's just, sometimes you can get a sample that's so sweet and it's like, fuck it, the drums are already there. I was like, why not? It's like, most of it's, I can't imagine anyone's going to hear the EP and be like, and recognize any of the samples. Like they're all pretty rare and unique, like. But
yeah, you get your samples from the same place I do. Sure, the YouTube channel, the Oriental Chill sample playlist, is it? Like Vinyl Frontier, yeah.
And I do collect the records as well every so often. Like I'll go into the record store and he'll have like 45s there for like £1 each. Buy like 10 or 15 of them, and like sometimes I've been very lucky, but a lot of the time, it's pure shite. But you can just go back and trade them in for other ones, like, or sell them off. Like I've no issue with that. But
yeah, handiest way to do it, really, though, bro.
Yeah. It's not necessarily like, it's obviously more awkward getting them off the record, but it's just going for the whole old school process. Like I like that even more, that it's like, I can't even listen to it beforehand. I just have to go in and pick out stuff.
The influence of the old school is definitely present in your music, though.
Oh yeah, well, because it's entirely what I listen to, really. Like I mean, I like, from modern stuff in America, like I listen to literally nothing besides Griselda. Like that's pretty much the only modern American stuff.
Griselda
like records would be like West Side Gun, Conway the Machine, Benny the Butcher.
Okay, yeah, I haven't really listened to much of that now, but I'll give it a look. It is
quite
definitely
unique. It's generally like, say, West Side Gun. It's like, it is pure gangster shit, but like it's very slowed down, grimy kind of fucking beats. Like it's
they have a distinct style.
It is distinct, and it's definitely probably the biggest, most influential on production, as well as the rap kind of in that kind of side of things. And besides that, like Devilish Trio as well, they're a trap that, well, they actually broke up recently, but they were a trap group. Like, besides them, like everything else I'm listening to that's modern is Irish or from the UK. And then it's just kind of like, I don't see the point of going to listening to all this new music that I'm not going to like, when it's like, I've gone through so much of the 90s stuff. It's especially in New York. New York is always going to be the best shit, and generally the best shit came from the 90s in New York, in my opinion, like, or maybe late 80s.
100%, yeah.
But
East Coast was where it was at, like.
I've gone through thousands of CDs. Like, I literally have 1,000 CDs here, and fucking so much other stuff that I've never heard elsewhere. And like, I still know there's so much more there. And like, I definitely find, like, when I first kind of started getting into collecting, and not even necessarily collecting, but like just actually properly listening into hip hop and going outside of just 50 Cent and Eminem and shit, like, I was more easily impressed. So like, I'd be taking out songs here and there, and like my fucking hard drive was filled with about 5,000-6,000 songs in no time. But then if you look at the last 2 years, there's probably like 50 tracks there, because it's like I've gotten so used to listening to nearly everything. Like, it really takes a special track to fucking pop out and be like, that's actually worth putting on the playlist.
Yeah. You collect music like I collect movies, basically.
Yeah, like, I have a little movie collection there, but that was more of an unintentional one, where like I just happened to be around people who were dumping their DVDs, and they were like, "Do you want these?" I was like, "Yeah, fuck it, man. If you're gonna throw them away." Your
music collection is way more prevalent though. Like, you have a big ass music collection.
I'd say I have an Excel fucking file on Google Drive that I take account of everything, because I don't have that much, but like, I've bought things twice by accident sometimes, like, or not even realize I already had some things. But it's nice to kind of keep account of it. So it's like, if I ever want to, like, maybe sell it off somehow, or if I had to do that, which I don't want to, obviously, or just like find out the value of things, I've got a list there of absolutely everything I have, and I could just send it to someone, like, what do you think all these things would be worth, like, or what would be the rarest thing here, or whatever.
Get an approximate value, like.
Yeah, it's I have it separated by fucking region. Northwest, south, east, Midwest, and then Ireland and the UK, and then everything else, whatever European stuff I have. But like, I'd say in total there, I've probably got about 1,000 CDs in total, probably about 100, 200 cassettes, and probably about 300 records. But I still think I've got space. Where I am now, like, I don't fucking look forward to moving into another place where I have to somehow pack all this shit in, like, because it's stuff as well.
You kind of want to stay in the same place, like.
As well, like.
I'm like that, man. I'm in my nana's, like, but like, the space that I have now is so perfect and cushy. Like, I can't imagine taking everything apart and moving it somewhere else, like.
Yeah, but see, I think grandparents are a bit more like, oh, I'd happily have you here forever, but my old lad, like, rightly so, doesn't want me fucking here forever, so like, I have to kind of take that into account. That's why I've been kind of downsizing with my possessions, just kind of selling stuff off and getting rid of shit and dumping it, because I know.
So you don't have too much heartfelt shit, like.
Because I know the music collection.
You might have to get rid of it eventually anyway.
I want to keep that. And I want to obviously keep all my music equipment and shit like that. So knowing how big
you need a backup, bro.
Huh?
Every artist needs a backup plan. Like, if so shit goes south, like.
Yeah, it's not even that it'll necessarily go south, but just naturally, I'm 25 and I don't want to be fucking living here till I'm 30. So.
Yeah, 100%, man.
Yeah, like, I was surprised how much little things I had around the room. That, like, man, I've been selling, like, people will buy anything on eBay. Like, I've sold, like, game manuals on eBay for like £5 each. Like, I've sold boxes for games without the game, because obviously the game's either broken or lost or something like that, and sold them for like 10 or each. Like, it's like, you know,
people would want them, like, because they probably have the disc and they don't have the case. You know, that's totally understandable. Like, I'm the kind of person who would buy that shit. Like, if I'm stuck for something, like, if I can't get a 4K or something, I'll download it, and then I'll buy a casing and then add shit to it myself and make my own 4K.
Why not?
Like, do you know, that's just a small example, but you could do that with anything, and like. All right, no bother.
Cool. I was going to mention it to you earlier. What I was working on just before I got onto this. It's probably something you'd appreciate. I was like, I wanted to, because I've done. You probably remember, for a couple of my projects, I always do an intro where it's like, say for the San Anfion one, which is the last DJ Green one, it's like turning on the TV, loading up the PS2 and putting San Andreas in, and doing everything from opening the case up to putting the disc in, and it's like all these little nostalgic noises, and like, and in that particular one I recorded everything, so like I had the old TV, the PS2, San Andreas, all that shit there right before me, so it was easy just to set it all up. So it was
handy just to get the sound effects
cool.
And
since then I got rid of the.
It's better to
old TV,
record all that
it's
yourself
like,
with the microphone after telly, like.
Yeah, it's just cooler as well. Like, it sounds more natural too, when rather than taking them all off YouTube, and it's more tedious too, and you have to find the right sound. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that reminds me of when I was making the honeymoon phase with Redbeard. We were recording, and in the background while we were recording, my phone went off with a PSN notification from PlayStation, and it was like it warped into the song, and it was on time, and it was at the perfect spot after I finished rapping the line, and I left it in, and it ended up being stuck in there. And Sean Ryan from Irish Rap Zone pointed it out, and he was so happy that he caught that.
That's pretty cool, man. I don't know if I caught that when I heard it.
Yeah, if you go back and listen, you'll hear it. So it's about halfway through, I think.
I'll check it out after.
Mint.
But as I was saying, I got rid of the old TV and sold off a lot of my own old consoles because they were just sitting there, and I wanted to kind of make something similar for this project. So I thought of like a Saturday morning cartoon kind of one. So I basically my 8-year-old self going into the sitting room, turning on the TV, the old TV, the static and the fucking all that shit goes on, and then me just flicking the channels through my favorite cartoons just for and eating cereal as well. And I don't eat cereal anymore because I can't fucking drink milk.
Oh really?
Lactose.
You actually lactose?
Yeah, and I don't like drinking alternative milk. It just doesn't taste the same, so I just fucking cut it out completely. And it wasn't really much of a cereal eater as an adult anyway.
Enlighten me. What's it like being a lactose intolerant? Because I've never actually talked to anyone that was lactose intolerant.
Ice cream is the thing I miss because I love ice cream. I give up all other chocolates and anything like that just to eat ice cream. But nah, it's not worth it, man. I just get fucking
the shits,
shits, pains in the stomach, feeling just really ugh, fucking.
I know what you mean, bro.
Bloated, and then as well, it affects your breathing too. So I can fucking feel myself kind of almost struggling to breathe a little bit. Not struggling, but having a little bit of a tightness up there, and mucus as well. And Ireland is actually supposedly one of the worst in the world for it because we drink and eat so much dairy. So it's just literally because as kids we drank milk with every meal, and I don't really know anyone else that.
It was the same with me, yeah.
That would drink a pint of milk with every fucking meal as an adult too, even when I wasn't able to do it.
Whenever I do that, it just brings me back to my childhood. I used to drink milk with my dinner and everything. My nan and my granddad used to do it, so I was raised like that.
It's probably why I never broke a bone, because I'm a skinny fucker, but I've taken some fair tumbles, but I've never broken anything. I've been very lucky like that, and I do attribute it. It probably was the constant drink milk, and if it's supposed to.
I ate way more pizzas than you do, so.
I have to, because I don't eat cereal, I have to get one of the boys who eats cereal to record it for me in his house, just to fucking put it in the background.
Oh, what?
That's bad. I had good fun fucking choosing which cartoons I would use for it, because I didn't want to convolute it, but I kind of thought it'd be cool to just have myself flicking the channels through, and I picked Transformers Armada, which was it was one of the older Transformers series, but it was an anime one, a fucking really good one back in say 2003 or 4 or something like that when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Followed by Extreme Dinosaurs, which I don't know if you know that one. It was kind of the 90s Hulk, that kind of animation style.
Oh yeah.
Or actually no, more like the kind of 90s X-Men, because it was a little bit before that. It's kind of just I think it's 3 or 4 dinosaurs, kind of like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and they're fighting against the evil dinosaurs or whatever on planet Earth.
Yeah, I have a lot of VHSs of them back in the day, upstairs.
Savage stuff, man. I stuck in Yu-Gi-Oh and Pokemon then and after, just for the crack, and I think stuff like that, people, especially because I'm catering mostly to lads our age probably, so when they hear that shit, the fucking goosebumps go in the back of their neck. Maybe not necessarily those shows, but at least that period, we were the last generation kind of do that. Saturday morning cartoons aren't a thing with kids of this generation.
Nah, not today.
If you said that term to them, oh, do you watch Saturday morning cartoons? They'd be like, what? I watched.
My existence was based on fucking Saturday morning cartoons. I got up early every Saturday just to watch the cartoons.
That's what got me up for school, man. Literally, I wouldn't have gone for school if I wasn't able to watch fucking He-Man or Brave Star in the morning,
Yeah, there was always something on in the morning, and it was all good shit back then. You see the shit that's on kids' TVs today, and it's fucking awful. They're not even TVs; they're on iPads and shit. I'm from the generation where I grew up on the cartoons and shit on telly, but my sisters had an iPad thrown in front of them, and they don't have that experience. I can't talk to them about that.
Yeah, it would be for me. I'd hope if when I have kids, I keep them away from fucking iPads and shit. You know what I mean? They've no use for them. There's.
I'm not having children, but it's not happening.
I know, yeah.
Not too selfish, but I love my children enough not to bring them into this fucked up world.
I need to fucking gather up soldiers for the future, for the fight against the machines, you know. So
the machines. We'll train them young.
But one thing I was thinking earlier when I was flicking through those cartoons on YouTube to get to rip the intros off them and shit like that, is like, why the fuck is everyone showing their kids like Peppa Pig and Paw Patrol and all that shit? Like, you can literally stick on a playlist on YouTube, and 90% of your favorite cartoons are on YouTube now, and you can stick the playlist on. At least, like, what's the difference? Because then it's more watchable for you, because they're the ones I was giving out. Like, I have to fucking watch Peppa Pig for 8 hours.
I don't get the parents that throw the pure shitty stuff on, like, and not the stuff that they watched when they were younger, like, as if it's outdated.
It's gonna be way more tolerable. Like, stick on Avatar or SpongeBob, stuff that you can actually, because I mean, stuff like that is way more watchable for an adult than fucking, you know, A, B, C, 1, 2, 3,
and if they end up liking it, you can actually sit down and watch it again and have an excuse to watch it again, unless you're like a 30-year-old nerd. Like,
that shite. Like, I'm gonna have them watching fucking, you know, Avatar, SpongeBob, Fairly Odd Parents, all that shit. Like, so I can have a nice nostalgia trip, and as well not have to watch whatever trash is on TV now. Like.
Yeah, 100%.
Drag queens on CBeebies, like, or some shit.
Lord knows if I ever get caught in the trap, I'll be showing my children a load of shit anyway.
I'll poke holes in your Johnny.
Jesus. Fucking no, like I have Batman the animated series there, of all the Spider-Mans in 4K, I have all the stuff that Kid could fucking want here as well. Like, so if I ever do have them, I'm sorted.
Oh, same as I've got a lot of stuff there that well, actually, to be honest, no, I think my film collection isn't very family friendly at all. Like, it's mostly
it's mostly like
stuff, like
Goodfellas and a load of shit.
Some banned horror films there and shit.
Yeah. One topic I wanted to bring up with you as well. What about the MC generation of Irish rap? Because like it's different over here, like, and in England, like the Britain, like, compared to the rest of the world in America. Like, being an MC over in America is just being a rapper, but being an MC over here is like a totally different thing to being a rapper.
Oh yeah. What are my thoughts on it, like?
Yeah, well, like, what do you think on the whole generation of it? Like, can it be considered Irish rap? Like, I don't think many people, anyone has had this chat about it. Like,
none of it stood the test of time. And I mean, like, I can speak for myself. I never listened to it. I was never into any of that shit. It always drove me insane, and it always.
I'm not into it now by any means. I think it's awful. Like, but like as a young fella, like, it was just a thing that everyone listened to, so I listened to too. Like, back when I was generic.
Job, like. Nah, it wasn't.
Yeah, literally.
Like, whenever I hear that shit now, like, or like, the very odd time I go to maybe a house party with a lot of people, and you got some of those people there, like, and that's where they peaked in life. So they're like, oh, put on that MC there, and we remember the days at the discos. Like, it's like, I mean, they were fun in a sense, but they were only fun because that was the best we could do at the time. Like, it's like, if I could go back to going to discos at 16, or go back to going out when I was fucking just first getting freedom, like, I'd pick fucking 18 over that every time. Like, and it's like, the music was always shite. Like, I mean, I was a metalhead and a fucking hardcore hip hop head, like, but still, like, I don't get fucking good memories when I hear "Damn, She's a Sexy Bitch" by Akon or whoever the fuck that was.
Yeah, like all them pure tunes that get MC'd over and then sped up, like, and pitched up without even adding any originality to it. Like,
and I mean, like man, I was thinking there recently, there was a fella and he's still about the place, probably well into his 30s now, like, and like, man, like, this was like Millennium Madness when I was fucking just turned 13, I'd say 13, 14. And
yeah,
I'd say the oldest people were there were maybe a couple of dodgy third years and a fucking few second years, like. And I remember he did like who's the sexiest girl competition on stage. Now, in fairness, like, it was basically what he'd do is like, okay, we'd all fucking push some sexy girl up there, like, or what we sexy at that age, and then he would ask the crowd, like, okay, you know, how sexy is this one?
It sounds so bad now, like, but it actually sounds like something that would have happened back in at them times. Like,
I don't think he was doing it for any fucking bad reasons. Like, it was just a position he's put in. Like, but I remember it being so funny, and I remember I met one of these boys. He was the year ahead of me in school, and he was good mates with one of my cousins. I hadn't seen him in a few years, and I was like, oh man, I remember about 10 years ago, you were at fucking Millennium Madness, and he was up on stage. The girls had gotten off, and now it was 4 lads, and it was basically like the winner of basically the best looking lad at disco has to describe what he would do if he had the girl on a date or some shit like this, and then whoever got the best response won. And I think he got like fucking free tickets to Nest Disco or some shit like that. And one guy was a pure like Taylor Lautner fucking looking cunt. Like he had his shirt off and he had a six pack at that age, and all the girls were going mad for me. And
God, the pure cringe, like.
And in my eyes, he's like, that fella's so old. Like he's probably like 17, but he's probably just fucking like 14 or 15. Like he just was more mature looking than I was. And he's like, oh yeah, I'd bring you out for like strawberries and cream and a nice seafood dinner. And then it cuts to this fella that I know. And your man gives him the mic. He's like, if I had you, I'd give you all dildos so you can feed yourselves. And your man just takes the mic away and he's like, fuck's sake. And I said it to him years later. He's like, man, I don't remember that at all, but I well believe that was me. Like, it was fucking brilliant though.
Yeah, like that's not a story that can be made up, like.
They were a funny old period, man. I think I don't know if you had them in Limerick, but we had socials, which was like fifth year, and what we do there is like they were organized by students as opposed to like just fucking random event companies or whatever. So 2 people in the whole year generally of all the main schools would fucking. It was all the posh circle basically of all the different schools, and they'd decide who was having this one and having the next one. So say it might be like Connor and Damz's social out in fucking Oranmore or some shit like that, and we'd all get on a bus basically and go out to this place in the middle of fucking nowhere and like just have the crack, like. But
have a crack and party.
There was so much more access to be able to drink for it because we'd all be sent to the one place. So there'd be like 500 kids in fucking the car park outside the cathedral drinking, like. And then we'd have bus rides all the way out, like, and we'd be drinking on the bus as well, like. And like the bus drivers and shit would try their best to stop us from doing it, but like I remember, man, like there was fucking like, you know, like the fire exit kind of on the bus, the little steps down to it.
Yeah.
Oh man, that being filled with piss, like up to about the third fucking step, and I nearly fell into it at one point. And some fella, I managed to put my 2 hands to the wall, and I was slipping down toward it, like, because I was so fucking pissed, like. And then some fella grabbed me from behind and pulled me up, like. And like, there's people pissing on the seats, smoking joints, drinking, screaming and shouting, man, like a fucking. Oh, it was a huge step up the first time, because I'd like been to sessions and shit like that, but I'd never seen anything like that. We walked in and I was like, lads, this is insane. Like, there's so many people here, like, and fucking
like Project
they got
X,
shut
like.
down eventually. Like, it was for us, it was like, do you know what I mean? Like, I mean, that many fucking young lads and young girls running around going absolutely fucking bananas, like. And it's like when there's that many people, like, you're guaranteed to pull as well, like. So I pulled pretty well at those fucking ones. I was pretty proud of myself at the time, like, because I certainly wasn't fucking you know, the fucking Taylor Lautner of the time, as I said, like. But,
stop, bro. When we were going to the discos, we were fucking going around meeting women and taking count, like, and whoever, like, we'd all fucking come back and fucking see how many people we met by the end of the night. And like, I'm not even joking, yeah. I was meeting so many people. Like, I met like 21 girls one night, man. Not even joking, like, and I'm not even proud of that. Like, it's fucking pure kiddie shit,
time,
like.
But it's actually disgusting, man, when you think about, because how many lads each?
How many other dudes did those girls meet, like, and they were all, like, it was a time where you didn't care, like.
Oh, I know, yeah. Like, I mean, now, like, I mean,
especially with COVID now, like that, like, imagine what they're doing now when at that age, like. I'm sure they're still all faking, man. Me and Shawnee were doing a DJing gig one time out in fucking out in the race course out in Limerick, and like Pat Flynn was fucking MCing inside. Now, speaking of MCs and shit, it's mad, but basically, like, we were DJing outside and Shawnee had the whole lot of the fucking disco out in the smoking area, like, and nobody was inside when Pat Flynn started, so they told us to pack up shop and they closed down the smoking area before he started and went on. So we were leaving and packing up, and I swear to God, bro, I look in the window that beside me, like to our left is the race course where all the fucking horses are, like, and then fucking to our right is like the windows looking into the actual venue, the actual inside of it, like. And have you ever been to the race course in Limerick? No,
I haven't. No.
Fair enough, like, you wouldn't get me, so, but like, it's like, just think of a race course and looking in the window or whatever, and we're packing up, and there's this young fella has a girl spread out there in the corner, and he's feeking the arse off her, like, and we were knocking on the window like, hey, cop on to yourselves, like. Dude was fucking, dude didn't even bother stopping, he just looked, like, and just fucking kept speaking, like, they're like kids, like. It's fucking weird.
Yeah, when you look, but when you're that age, it doesn't really seem as graphic, but when you look back, it's like, fuck, like, you know,
Like you think we were bad. They get worse and worse, like, and it's like you feel a bit bad for being a dope, like, but
I don't remember there being any full on sex at any of the ones, or at least seeing anyone having full on sex, but like definitely seeing some funny ass shit, like, you know, like,
I know of shit going on inside the bathrooms, like, but like, I mean, like, they were dead inside, like, in a corner where they could have been seen, like, and there was people walking around, like, but some people just didn't take any notice of them, like, out, and they're plastered into the corner, like, and the window's right next to them, and we're packing up the fucking DJ gear, like, and we look over and they're faking. It's fucking disgusting, like.
I just thought of a really, really funny one, man. Fucking one of my mates, I won't name him, but you don't know him. He's not a hip hop lad.
Yeah.
But we got onto the fucking bus, and he was getting off with this fucking rather large girl, like, and literally, like, he's on the 2 seats next to the fucking bus driver, like, and he's fucking, like, full on sucking her tits, like, and he's making noise. he's making noise as he's doing it, like he's making like you know, playing, like, literally, like, and I'm just I all I see, right, is like they're sitting facing each other, but they're, you know, like, his back is to the window and her back is to the aisle, and I'm looking through the gaps in the bus in the fucking seat, and I just see him reach forward, like, just grabbing her tits. And the bus driver is looking back, and he's just like, what the fuck, like, for like 60-year-old man,
yeah.
like, traumatized, like. I don't think I thankfully don't think the one that I had that's very bad, and again, obviously I won't name who's involved because it's embarrassing for the girl as well as the guy, like, but I was with this girl, and she was you know, had her hand, you know, between my legs or whatever, and this fucking Egypt man, he was in my cousin's year, the year ahead of us. He kept looking back and just fucking laughing, like, and he was like, and he kept pointing out, like, it was dark, but he happened to see us do it, and he would not leave us be, like. He tried a few times, and he kept to be like, oh, what are you doing back there? He's like,
yeah.
He's like, she's like a hurler, she loves having wood in her hands. And I was like, fucking cunt, like, leave us the fuck alone. And he wouldn't
cock
do
blocking
it,
you.
like, kept going on. And he proper cock blocks me, like. But that's probably the only thing I had that's kind of embarrassing. But it wasn't all that bad. But like, yeah, he mentioned it to me in school the next day. He was like, oh, Jess, fair play to you. And I was like, man, I'd say if you were getting a fucking hand job at the back of a bus, you wouldn't be enjoying some fella talking in your fucking ear the whole time, like.
Nah, that reminds me, bro. Like, I went to fucking Bulgadin Castle one night when I was young for that, and like on the way back in the bus, like, I was meeting a girl, and she started fucking just putting my dick out of nowhere, like, I don't know, like, I wasn't gonna fucking say no, like.
Obviously not, like.
Like, nobody noticed until near the end when she stopped, like, and like 2 of the lads behind noticed, like, and I was getting slag for the night afterwards, but sure, it was fucking fun, wasn't it?
Like, bad.
It happens, man. It's the way it goes when you're a teenager, like.
I remember seeing lads eating their girls' friends out, like, on the back of the bus, and girls sucking the lads' cooks off, and fucking just such blatant shite, like, and like sometimes where the security or bouncers are fucking, so yeah, security, bouncers or bus drivers are just seeing this, like, and you're literally seeing 2 fucking 15-year-olds giving each other oral sex at the back of a fucking bus.
I know, yeah, you'd be ashamed of yourself, like.
You don't think it at the time, like, you know, we're just laughing, like, can you imagine now, man, right, at 25,
like,
if one of your
back
mates
then it was acceptable to be like that, especially if you were a dude, like, that's the thing, there's still the stigma around, like, you know, if you're the girl, you're the slut, and if you're the dude, you're fucking appreciated, and you're, like, regarded in high regard, like, especially when you're a teenager, though, among your
you can
peers
slag
and
them
shit.
off now, it's like, man, you were eating some girls.
It's like, oh, remember you did that when you were a teenager, and it's embarrassing, like, because you did do that shit when you were a teenager, kind of shit. It's fucking, like, all your close friends would have, like, stories about you, only they would know, kind of, like.
At least with me, most of that shit was voluntary in the first place. Like, I think, like, a lot of the time I do think that I haven't changed much in terms of the way I go on, like, but I look back sometimes, I think of stuff, I'm like, I went and did that and did not think twice about it. Like, I was like, whatever it was, I can't think of them off the top of my head. It's like, I walked up and did that and just thought nothing of it whatsoever. It's like,
yeah.
I wouldn't do that now if I was fucking absolutely off my fucking tits, like things I will never talk about on this show, like, but stuff was like, Jesus Christ, I did that.
Oh, of course,
I just didn't give a shit what I was doing. I didn't care who was looking at me. I just had a great
I tell ya, at a night out, like, if I was drunk, like, and I was with you and the lads, I'd be telling some stories, like, you know, but there's some there that I just can't share.
There's one funny one, I don't think this is too bad, I'm not embarrassed about it really, like, but It was Halloween, like 2000 and maybe 12 or 13. I was 16, 17. And I was outside Supermax in Ayr Square, and I said, fuck it, I'll whip my arse out and fucking knock on the window. And I had my arse against the window, like, and fucking everyone was laughing, and security were like, what the fuck, and they chased me on. And I went then down to Shop Street and did it in McDonald's, and the same thing happened, like. And then I went down to Supermax by St. Pat's and did it there. And then I looped up again and did it in both other places and came back down again. So I did it 3 times each to each of those restaurants, like, on Halloween. Like, and the boys just followed me up and down just to watch me do it.
All the fucking bouncers after you.
Oh god, man, it was so funny. Like, you know, you're just so tone deaf at that age where it's like, you know.
Yeah, it's even when you're drunk at that age, you're just like, you've no care in the world. Like,
because sometimes this was like 6 o'clock in the evening, man, 7 o'clock in the evening. There's people all over the place, and we're just drinking bottles of Buckfast, and there's fucking babies running around. We're just laughing their fucking heads off, like. Like,
for you, it might be like you remember it fondly, and you were your best self back then, but like the other people, it's kind of like, remember how fucking drunk he was, like, and I remember he did this and that, like.
Oh yeah.
So it's different perspectives, like.
Oh, there was nothing better than fucking fire, destruction, and all that shit. That's why I love fucking. Yeah. I love putting together little campfires and just tending to it for ages, because that just is me getting that chaos out of my mind for the evenings. Like, I can do a safe little fire here and cook on it, as opposed to like, let's fucking light that big bush on fire with a load of petrol or some shite, like.
Oh, stop, man. We were out in the forestry one night, like, and it's like deep out the backwood to fucking Newport, like.
Yeah.
And there's you go out of about 4 or 5 fields, and there's like a little shrubbery, or like, and there's like a tree that you could climb. We were all just sitting in the tree and smoking joints, you know, like young fellas do. And one of the boys was he was taking a piss, and he dropped his fag in the bush, like. And because he wasn't smoking, and it was a fag, like, and the whole bush lit on fire, and the whole like ditch and the sides of the field went up in flames, and it was kind of spreading or whatever. The whole fire brigade and all had to be called, and we just took flight through all the forest, all the way throughout the back ways of Newport until we came to the other side of Newport, and then came out of the forest that side. So it looked like we weren't even anywhere near there. Do you get me?
It must have been dry grass or something like that.
We had to split up as well, because we heard the sirens thinking that it was the guards, like, so we all split up, and like I ended up coming through the backwoods of my estate, like, and like once I climbed over the thing, it was around the corner was my house, like, you know. For the other lads, it would have been harder. They would have had to go further on again, like, because they were at other sides, and you'd have to like go around my estate and then go past the school and go up by the town way, and then come out through the actual like town, and then run up the road from there, like. But once you're in the middle of the town, like, you get up to so much mischievous shit as a young fella, especially like when you're out the country. Like, my mother took me out of Limerick to try and stop me from being a delinquent, but like it doesn't stop you. Like, you're just in a more segregated place where you could get away with more. Like,
men, like most normal lads will be like that at some point. You know, there's nothing wrong with it. Like, as long as you don't take it too far, like.
Yeah, you get away with more as a young fella, like, and like you don't realise it until you turn 18, and then you hit someone with the wrong slap, like, and you get in trouble for it, you know.
I literally fucking, like, this happened in Barna a few times, where farmers would be burning furze bushes in their fields, and fucking it would get out of control and nearly end up burning houses down. But my mate had a mink problem, and they were eating his chickens or whatever, and
the little fuckers, them minks, man, they'll break their leg if they catch you.
No, not they couldn't break your leg. Badgers, you're thinking of.
Nah, but the minks wouldn't they not snap your leg if they caught a hold of you with their teeth, like?
Nah, man, they're not that strong, but they take a bite out of you, like. But
yeah, like I heard an old farmer's trick was like they used to put wood down the side of their chute or wet engines, probably badgers. So like, cause
that's a common enough one. Yeah, my granddad would always tell me that one when he was hunting, like, because I mean they wouldn't attack you.
Get bit by a fucking mink or a badger, like, that's. I always thought it was minks, but it's probably false information.
Yeah, like a badger would only go for you if you cornered it or fucking went towards its fucking into its a dray, which would be a badger den, like.
I get what you mean, yeah.
But yeah, you had a mink problem. Minks will go in and they'll eat all the chickens, like, or they won't. No, they'll kill everything and just leave, like, suck a bit of blood. They do it for the sport. So take into account I was young doing this, so I don't feel too bad about it. I was like, look, the best way, we found his den or whatever, and I said, I'll get a fucking deodorant can, fill it with a fucking, or put a fucking a black hat to it, like a banger, like, tape it up like
pure Connor thing to do, boy.
Oh yeah, and throw it in and blow it out and just scare the shit out of it, like. and it blew out. And like sometimes there'd be fucking pockets of air down there, and it fucking like literally lifts the ground. And this was the fucking middle of the summer, like yellow dry grass all over the top of it, and it just lit all of that. And like I was like, fuck. And I started putting out. The two boys with me were just kind of standing there. I was like, lads, put this out. It's gonna fucking put up the whole field, like. And we luckily did just on time. Like, was it? But if we left that any longer, like the whole field would have went up and potentially even burned their house down. Never mind fucking someone else's. Like.
Yeah.
Very, very lucky.
Yeah, it's like the other situation, like with the field that I was in, like I think we burnt down half the farm that was on the other side of the field as well.
Poor bastard.
Yeah, like we couldn't stop it, like, so we took flight, you know. We went up to the part that wasn't on fire, just jumped into the next field and like went through about 2 or 3 fields and split up, like. Nothing you can do in them situations. You don't know what you're doing when you're a young fella, like.
The guards are gonna hear this now and you're gonna be fucked.
What about it, boy? You can't charge me for something that happened when I was a young fella, like.
It reminds me of another one I did where I got a bottle like of fucking nasty rum, mixed it with barbecue fluid, petrol, and lots of flammable shit, and sellotaped a load of deodorant cans to it, lit it, and then threw it into a bush, and like the fucking absolutely set the whole thing on fire. And I was like, oh yeah, I didn't think it would be that bad. And I was like, then again, like it could have been so much worse. But I was like, oh, we have to put this out now, like it's gonna fucking light the whole thing on fire. Like what the fuck did I expect? A liter of like just a nasty concoction of flammable shit. Like it was only gonna go one way. Like, I just didn't think it was gonna fucking go that bad. Like, but yeah, it was very lucky. Noticed that time, like we managed to put it out as well.
Dodgy shit, bro.
So, we obviously went off fucking music there, but sure, that's what fucking the whole podcast is for. I prefer having kind of conversations that are more random, but do you have any?
It's not just about music, man. It's about life and everything else.
Do you have anything else you want to bring up music-wise before we close up the episode?
No, other than that, no. I've been working on projects for other people as well, you know. I'm like, I'm mixing and mastering, so I do it for a cheap price as well. As if any like upcoming rappers or anyone wants to get onto me, I can give you a hand with some of your projects if you want. And other than that, I'll be featuring on some upcoming projects from Goblin, Sharktooth, Big Man Davey, a few other artists as well in Bad Arts, and possibly more from outside.
Yeah.
But other than that, no, that's just me capped.
So, man, look, it was great fucking having you on.
Absolute pleasure, bro.
Definitely have you on at some point. Potentially have you on with Sean if he's not too nervous to get on at some point. I think that's a hassle, but we'll see.
We'll have to put him away for a bit, you know. Get him outside.
You're not going on the podcast, Sean.
Oh, there goes everyone's eardrums.
All right, look, nice one for coming on, man, and I'll chat to you soon.
Of course, bro. No bother. Right. I'll chat to you soon. All right, bro.
See you.
See you, man.